So, you may be wondering where this comes into play, how we use this. Well, let's look at our first example. So, what you want to do is you want to look at which sides we're dealing with in this problem for this triangle. Usually the angle that they give us, in this case we have 23 degrees over here, is going to be the one that's in for theta, which again represents an angle. So when we look at theta here, we're going to use that to figure out whether we have the opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. Well, looking at this, we have our right angle over here, and going across from that, we reach this side. This one is the hypotenuse, and that's 14. So we're definitely dealing with the hypotenuse here. This x, we have to figure out, is that the opposite side or the adjacent side? And again, let's take a look at where it is relative to the angle. If we go across from the angle, we reach this side, making this one the opposite side. That leaves this one to be the adjacent side. So we have the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. Now given that these are the two sides that we're dealing with here, for x and 14, which one uses hypotenuse and adjacent? Well, either think back to our SOHCAHTOA or look at this, and you can see that the one that deals with adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we want to use cosine here. Cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of math. We're going to set up an equation. And you'll notice that the first part of cosine is cosine of theta. So what we're going to do is we're going to write cosine of 23. The 23, again, is the angle that's in the problem. That's where it's coming from. So we have cosine of 23 equals, and then we're going to put the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So we're going to have x over 14. And what we want to do here then is just sort of solve it like a regular algebra equation. Here we have x divided by 14. To undo the dividing by 14, we're going to multiply both sides by 14. These 14s will cancel out, leaving us with x equals 14 times cosine of 23. And usually, let me get out a calculator, calculators will have a button that can help you deal with trig functions. This one, for example, you can see right here has sine, cosine, and tangent. So, what we're going to type in, as on our page appears, is 14 cosine of 23. Sometimes you have to enter it in differently on different calculators, but on this one, if I type in 14 cosine of 23, you can see that it's going to appear as we want it to. And the answer to that one is about 12.89. X equals 12.89. So that's how you solve that one. Let's take a look at one more example. It's a little more complicated than that one, only because of the algebra that's involved in it. So what we're going to have is an angle that has a size of 35, an opposite side that has a length of 7, and a hypotenuse of x. So, again, the first question we ask, what sides are you dealing with? Well, here's our angle. Looks like the hypotenuse, which is right here, is not being used. But here we have the opposite side, and here we have, it's right next to the angle, the adjacent side. And if we look back up here, which one uses opposite and adjacent? That would be a tangent. So we're going to use tangent here. So which one do we want to use? Tangent. And remember, it's tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. So, in this case, theta is 35. So we're going to have tangent of 35 equals 7 over x. 7 again is our opposite side from the angle going across the triangle, and the adjacent side is x. So what we're going to do for this one is, it's going to be easiest for us to solve this if we make it two proportions, if we make it a proportion situation. So we're going to put tangent of 35 over 1, and then we can use cross multiplication. So we're going to have 7 equals tangent of 35 times x. And remember, tangent of 35, we're going to enter that into the calculator. It's just going to be a number. So we're going to divide both sides by tangent of 35. Giving us x equals 7 divided by tangent of 35, which you can type into your calculator, is just about 10. So you should be getting x equals 10. Approximately. So that's how you solve basic trig problems. What I want you to do for tomorrow is, I'm about to hold up a new problem, and I want you to try it out and come in tomorrow with the answer, or what you think is the answer. Just try following the steps that we had in this video. Here's the problem. And best of luck to all of you. See you tomorrow.